What is going on, everybody? It is Rydex here, and we're bringing back another VOD review today of the EU Mobile Cash Cup Round 2 final. The person who won that Cash Cup was LeftEye. Used to be on RBK, recently left RBK, and he came down from PC straight to mobile, and he was actually present at the World Cup. He came 41st at the World Cup. He qualified first in EU during one of the weeks. He was a very talented solo player. And you might be wondering, how does he go from there to mobile? Well, he actually switched from KBM onto controller, and after some practice on controller over the past 9 months, being one of the early switchers, he was then able to convert that skill onto mobile cash cups, and he's just making quite a lot of money in that. He placed first by 72 points, quite an impressive margin. The margin only used to be just over 10 points, but NLO got banned for teaming. So he placed a comfortable 72 points above Knifer. And he is playing on an alt, so if you do try and go look at his profile or anything, you won't really find much on this account. But this gratis 10 account is LeftEye. We've gotten confirmation on this. And we're just going to be watching over 2 of his games. He has a lot of free kills in this game during the early game, and he has asked me to admit his landing spot, so that's what we're doing. We're respecting his request. But we're going to be watching this Endgame. He gets 3 kills and, spoiler alert, ends up on 3rd, and he does win a game later on. So we'll be watching those 2, looking for a few patterns during mid and late game. This game, we've missed out most of mid game. He sat in a cone for most of it. He had 2 launch pads, and he didn't really need to do much because zone just kept pulling him. If we look at the zone really quickly right now, you can see that there is a quarter of the zone absolutely immersed in the water, so zone playability is much less, and essentially only the left side of the zone will have people, as the right side is dead side. Not many people are going to rotate from anywhere onto here. So we see he padded early, quite a good decisions considering the elevation change. As we can see, this mountain right here, it'll be hard to navigate on foot completely with somebody in LeftEye's power position, but there was nobody in that position initially, which is why he probably set up there, and he was able to get 2 free kills off of that, as we saw the lasers. Has immediately sets up on a power position again. I think this is a bit of a trend that we'll begin to see. And if we just quickly look at the zone here, you see there's that massive elevation change once again. And anybody padding up will essentially be a free laser to him. I suspect these 3 kills are exactly that. There's one. Absolute laser. He does get the spaz off of an upgrade machine as zone does pull near to him. And this is just perfect, right? He's abusing the fact that he's on aim assist. He has, great tracking because of, I think, linear. And having this power position makes him so much more powerful in terms of being a threat to the lobby. Zone pulls back, essentially, and there we go. Another elevation change. So we see lots of people die here in terms of not being able to make that rotation. What you can do right now, if you're smart enough, but if you're comfortable enough, you can be on the left side of the zone, which was where half and half out pulled towards. So there's very little people there. And on the back of the zone, because everybody's so concentrated down this straight, trying to get down the channel, down to the bottom of the mountain, they'll be so concentrated, they'll be building a ton that you can just ride a rotation if you're going late. Let's see what LeftEye does. Slow it down to 2 times. So we see the person on opposite height seems to be not that aggressive. LeftEye looks down for a route. He can keep height here reasonably. He checks opposite height, he sprays, he does have the RPG. And he's trying to keep high, right? This is another shooting range for him, because he's on height. You see Flutter go down, a talented player. And I think he does want to maintain that high mid-ground in order to have that play potential to go onto height. So he plays very generic mid-ground, plays to the front of zone. I think he's in at this point. And he's just waiting for the next zone to pull. What ends up happening, starts the laser look down. If you look at his elevation, I believe he does want that height play potential. Height seems to have fallen off. And I think he actively played that high mid ground because he knows that low ground will be super shambles, but full of people who are kind of psycho Psycho, and we know mobile and controller players are the only people who can play these cups. So the chance of you getting lasered absolutely just by an SMG are quite high. I think he acknowledges that, which is why he wants to play relatively safe high mid-ground. Zone pulls further, so this is completely new stuff to build on. And this terrain isn't too comfortable to traverse on low ground, so I think it is a pretty smart decision. Yeah, we can see there are people on low ground trying to get ahead, trying to use the terrain to their advantage as well. It is an option, but it can be a double-edged sword. Makes a storm play. Height's completely clueless. I don't think he even looked up for height. I don't think he even looked up to confirm anything. It was that free. I think he looks up at the top left corner, acknowledges, okay, there's 9 people. He doesn't even look up for height. When RPG disconnects and he's on the single top. And he knows that he was already quite close to height, so that was really free. And now he's got 270 on 8 people left, 7th zone. And notice he's still on maximum health, but I think a few RPGs too early means that he has none now, and he kind of needs a refresh pretty soon. You know, we're getting a few challenges and a few people gliding up on height. But I think the zone essentially going into this building secures the mid-ground for him, right? Because nobody will go, like, apart from the odd person or two, there's not going to be many people on mid-ground. You know, it's just not that playable when height's so low. No more RPGs. He realizes that finally. That could cost him. I think that could cost him. We move ahead. He's out of materials. He didn't look for that impact early enough. He gets RPG by knife for a nice play. And I think that's this game done for. There's not much you can do by this point. Maybe popping minis here. Farming up, prioritizing farming. You go to a shield instead. Completely understandable. He gets a bit of mats here and there. But we can see that he doesn't get an eliminator. How does he lose this? Oh, right. He just didn't look to the right, and that's the game gone, essentially. Well, pretty well played. Just a lot of stuff on the height. A lot of stuff holding height, but just misplaying the RPGs a bit too much, wasting a bit, and not having the timing of the refresh down. I think that costs him the game. Right now we're watching over, or about to watch over, is game 6. This game sees a much more humble LeftEye with only 6 kills. He is stuck in Storm at this point, but what he does perfectly this game is that he wins, and he absolutely abuses the fact that there are only 67 players in the game, which means that, you know, the moment you hop off the bus, you already have placement points. So if you're within contention of the money, or somewhat within contention of the money, game 6 is your game to make that big play, to make that big statement. What we're watching is about to be LeftEye's first kill this game. He got into scuffle earlier, which kind of threw off his pace, and well, let's just watch over how patient he is with this kill. Yes, you can make all the controller jokes that you want. Yes, you can make all the mobile no audio jokes that you want, but the lack of awareness that this man had and the lack of reaction time was pretty insane. You know, normally you might be able to get a dink off or something. I actually spoke to him a bit afterwards about this issue, and he was telling me how he wanted to look at the players' movements to tell if they're good enough kill or not, just straight off by lasering them. And before that, he'll look at the movement. You can tell through certain habits of the players, their skill level. It is something that you can do on mobile, especially on PC. Cash Cup lobbies, you might have to respect everybody to an extent, but mobile is something that you can perfectly abuse. Identify already that he is going to be on the congested side of the zone, which is, or I think most likely this side, because you won't really see people rotating from here up to here. Here up to here. So yeah, some things to look out for. It will impact his gameplay, which is why I think it's kind of worth bringing up. And you know, he goes for that north side rotate. Probably less people on the north side. Not that there's a lot of people in this game anyways. It kind of feels like a Cash Cup open round, just enhanced slightly. Carriages, white heels, bandages, swap stuff for the SMG. Obviously, he's on controller. Very casual stuff. He doesn't really need to do much on the zone. If we look at this now, he needs to rotate across the river. It'll be interesting to see what he does. He might be able to just loop around this whole area into zone. The zone, and he does end up on the lower ground. You might want to get up one of these mountains because positioning right now is horrendous. You know, there's not a lot that you can do. He does have 2 launches, which I think kind of remedies this situation. He does actively make the effort to get up. Supply crates coming in. He gets 1 kill before endgame. That kill might refresh him or give him something important, so I think we'll want to watch through that before you go through the endgame. Doesn't pull zone once again, so he needs to rotate. The zone kind of does have half of it free, so guess where this late rotate. He has a really clear path. These rotates might not work, you know, just straight white lining it right away in other games. It does work here because, well, mobile kids aren't that aware, and the fact that there is 26 people in 4th circle. I think that's a big deciding factor. So he goes for lasers. He likes building a metal quite early on. Something that I've noticed from the few games I've watched. He doesn't really like building a brick during mid-game. I think it's the same to him. If we look at height here, and there's one established height on his side of zone, and there's another kind of a scuffle here, and there's a scuffle over there as well. He pulls quite close to zone. It's not that bad of a rotate. He passes right away. You see that pattern now, taking a power position. How did he get that kill? I completely missed that. Jesus. Alright, he just lasers somebody, I think. Yeah, don't glide in front of him. I think we're about to see him laser a ton of people too, but he doesn't secure an elimination when he does end up padding. Kind of unfortunate for him, but you know, he sets up here for sure. You know, he plays that launch into I'll just laser you gameplay quite a lot, and there's not really many people contesting height. Like the closest person to him here is mid ground, which he's based up on. You know, there's a slight elevation change here, so obviously anybody here isn't much of a threat. But I'd expect a bit more people low ground. You know, he does build the metal to build that established high ground. First moving, 18 people, you love to see it. And I think that's the beauty of making it into endgame during these lower tier Cash Cup final lobbies. You know, you never know. You never know. When you're the one quitting, you're giving out the people free money. Just how things are. Lasers Ballet, kills Ballet. Oh no, I nearly kills Ballet. Fleta once again getting lasered. I think he's playing slow laser, and he'll probably set up on high again. Sets up on height. Nobody's playing for height here. I think this is one of the, you know, he's mastered on PC, or to an extent. The right timing is to take height. This is super weak, by the way. I don't know why anybody's not shooting it out, but nobody notices, right? And by game 6 at this point, when there's so little people, half of the lobby is gonna have no idea what's going on. You see, just now, you know, 5 people died already trying to rotate this simple zone. In a sense, lower tier lobbies like this are harder to play, but he can literally, you know, Fleta's got terrible awareness here. LeftEye is single topping over him, Brick completely unscathed, doesn't take a bit of damage, isn't, you know, dealt any pressure, and he lasers Enelo out of the air. Nice. Like Fleta's applying pressure to the rest of the lobby for him by this point. If you see, Fleta was minigunning. I think earlier, if we look back, Fleta was minigunning across here, and if we look right now, Fleta is minigunning across here. So Fleta playing a sort of a second higher mid ground position is essentially doing LeftEye's job for him, just not taking quite as many eliminations, I think. I think, you know, that benefits him quite a lot, because that means that half of LeftEye's job is done for him. You know, pressure the lobby. So all he's got to do is just keep height. He plays back a zone to wait until the next zone pulls. He's got 410. If he had a harpoon from earlier, those maps would be super useful. Does he play for the launch? That's what I'm going to see. Lasers second height on mid ground. Really nice refresh that he gets there. And he, you know, he's kind of chilling for this game, because if you look at zone by this point, it's pretty easy to just rotate across unscathed. Right, there's 5 people left by this point. That kid didn't take height because he was getting lasered out the air, which gives LeftEye height. That tree's really convenient. Race LOS, line of sight, which means that LeftEye can't be easily pressured, and you can just look down for pressure. SMGs him out. LeftEye's not had to use his tac once. You see, still opts to not use the tac. You can get a big pot off here, but I'm not sure he wants to. Reloads everything, looks down on low. Fleta's just got a refresh. confirms 2 shield tags on him. Probably has enough time to get off a mini at the pace that things are happening. Oh, actually no, you can get off a big one. And you know, he shouldn't lose this, realistically. Unless FlutterDAY makes a play right about now. It shouldn't be too hard to lose, because he can tell that FlutterDAY isn't too concentrated on taking height by this point, and that constant pressure from both grounds pinching him is really easy. But interesting to see that this man completely misplays the Midas and RPG. There you go, that RPG starts applying pressure to him. LeftEye has to drop down, but conveniently FlutterDAY also drops down and doesn't build, chooses the 50-50. Guy on height should win this game if he has enough heals. Well, he doesn't, so he dies there. Really simple stuff, generic gameplay. His game plan is just launch laser, launch laser. Miss out a few mid-game kills, but quite often his kills are just lasering somebody with a controller. That was just a really nicely played game by LeftEye. We saw it came first, 9 kills. Obviously the other guy kind of benefited, and that was really well played. I think that was just simple stuff, capitalizing on the last game, and you know, he did end up winning $1,600, be it on mobile or not. You know, it's still money. Money is money, and when you're a pro player, everything matters. Anyways, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the VOD review. Let me know if you enjoyed. Leave your opinion in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe, share on Twitter, everything else, and I think I'll catch you back here very soon.